Hey guys, MEP Guy here, and in this video I'm going to show you guys some advanced tips and tricks I use for modeling common plumbing layouts just like this one. So we're going to create this little riser diagram, and we're going to create this little floor plan here. We're going to model everything, we're going to tag everything, we're going to throw it on a sheet, and I think you guys are going to really enjoy some of the more advanced techniques that I use in this video. Alright, let's get started. Let's open up a brand new project. We're going to browse to the plumbing default template file. We're going to hit OK. Once this loads up, we're going to insert our Revit file. So we're going to go to Link Revit, and we're going to insert this ARC file for carriers. And once we have our model inserted into our project, we're just going to remove these elevation markers by hiding them by the category. And what I want to talk about is how you can quickly model these common layouts. So for instance, we have this layout right here, which is very common for a public restroom. So I'm going to use a template file to make this a little faster. We're going to open the template file by going right here and clicking open. And this is my MEP Guy plumbing fixture warehouse template file. And it has all of the families that I use for my projects, as well as all of my routing preferences, all of my tags, essentially everything I would need for a project. So let's focus on this horizontal flow to the left carrier assembly that I have right here. And essentially what you need to do is copy and paste these into your projects. So I'm going to go back to my project file, and I'm going to measure the distance from these water closets by using an aligned dimension. And you can see they're 3'6" apart. So I'm going to go back to my template file, and we'll make sure these are 3'6" as well. So first, let's go ahead and move all of these. So let's move it 3'6" away, just like that. And then let's move this one 3'6" away. And now essentially they're spaced perfectly. So we can copy these to the clipboard by clicking the copy to clipboard button. And then we can go back to our project file and essentially just paste them in. So I'm going to go to paste from clipboard, and let's just paste them up top right here. All right, so they're in the project and they're ready to go. The first thing I might want to do is get rid of the groups. So I'm going to select them and ungroup them. And then I'm just going to move them into place. So I'm going to select them, hit the move command, and then we'll move them from the back of the fixture right here to the back of the fixture right here, just like that. All right, so then I can go ahead and change my detail level to fine, maybe change the scale to 1/4 inch, and we can delete this dimension. So that's looking pretty good. So now let's go ahead and connect all of these pipes together. So I'm going to open up a 3D view. Let me extend this over first. And before we do that, let's go ahead and get some urinals. So I'm going to go back to my template file, and you can see we have a bunch of fixtures down here. I'm going to copy and paste these two into my project. So I'm going to copy to the clipboard, Control V, paste these in, and then we'll essentially just move these into place, just like that. Just move them into place, just like that. And now we're good. I'm going to select all of my stuff. We're going to click on this selection box, and it'll open up a 3D view with my selection, just like that. And I can orbit around to the back. And one thing that I also have in the template file are called view templates. And we could transfer the view templates we have in the template file to this project. So we're going to go up to Manage. We're going to transfer project standards. We're going to check none. We're going to select our template file up here, check none. And then we're going to go down to view templates. And what that will do is that it will transfer all the view templates from this project into this project. We're going to click OK. And now I have the view template in my view. So if I go to my view templates setting over here in the parameters, I'm going to go ahead and scroll down, and you can see I brought in this MEP plumbing floor plan and MEP risers into my project. I'm going to click on MEP risers, and you're going to see that it'll make some changes to the view. Look at that. And so that automatically creates this riser view template that I like for displaying my riser diagrams. So this is looking great. So let's go ahead and connect all of these pipes together. So we'll take this piece of pipe and we'll just drag it across and connect it. Now we need to do the same thing for all of these. We can also use the connect into command, so we can click on one of the carriers and use connect into and click that. Do the same thing here. This time I'll use a keyboard shortcut I have created called CT, and that way it connects into, it does the same command. So we'll just use CT, and we've got all those connections made. So this is looking great. Now I want to connect these urinals, so let's go ahead and try that. Now when I connect the urinals, I want to do it from a floor plan so it makes this connection correctly. So I'm going to drag this view over to the side, just like that. And let's make the 3D view a little bigger, just like that. That looks good. And let's zoom into the urinals down here. We'll click on one of the urinals. We'll right click the back drag pick point button and we'll draw a pipe. We're going to draw it on the correct sanitary pipe type. And you can see my pipe types have been brought into the project and they're all start with MEP. And we'll click on to that pipe. Now you'll notice there wasn't enough room here for that segment. So I'm going to hit cancel here and let's go ahead and try to do this one first. Let's go right click here, draw a pipe, and we'll draw it down to here. And you can see that connection got made. Now it's using the wrong pipe type. And so I need to make sure that when I'm doing that, I'm using the correct pipe type. So I'm going to hit Control Z. And this time we're going to select the fixture. We'll right click, draw a pipe. And we just need to make sure we change the pipe type to MEP sanitary right here. We'll click here. And you can see that connection got made. I might want to bring this connector up a little bit. So these fixtures allow me to modify all of these connectors, which is very handy. So I'm going to go to Edit Type. We're going to bring up the sanitary outlet height to 2 feet temporarily. And now we can right click on this button, draw pipe, and we can just drag it into this piece and you can see the connection gets made. Now if I need to bring that connector back down, I can do that. So if I click on the fixture, hit Edit Type, we could bring this sanitary outlet height back down to 1'6" and hit apply. And you can see it will in fact bring that lower. We could do the same for over here. If we want to bring this one down, we can go to Edit Type, go to outlet height 1'6" and hit apply. And you can see that that looks a lot better. We're going to hit OK. All right, everything's looking great. Now what we need to do is we need to connect our vent piping up. So here's a little trick for you. If you guys want to create a T, you can hit the plus button if you have an elbow. And then what we can do is we can use the connect into command by clicking on this little fitting right here, this T, and we're going to use connect into, and then we're going to connect into this piece right here. And look at that, it draws that nice pipe right to this piece. Now I want to make sure I'm using the correct pipe type, so I'm going to tab into all of these pieces right here, and we're going to change the type, and we're going to hit the drop down, and we're going to change it to this MEP vent. Okay, so that changes it to the vent type. And then you can see all of these are already on the correct pipe type right here. And now all we need to do is we need to connect all of these to this main. So what we can do is we can click the back button right here, and essentially it kind of draws a section for us. And then we could use the trim extend command right here, multiple, and we can click this piece right here, and then we can select all of these. And you can see all the connections get made with the correct fitting, which is a vent fitting, and that's based on the routing preferences I have for this vent pipe type. Now we still need to make this connection right here, so let's go back to our 3D by hitting shift, and we're just going to orbit that around. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to hit plus here, and then we can just use the connect into button to make that connection a little easier. I'm going to go up to connect into, and we'll click on this piece right here. And you can see that something's going wrong, and that's because this system is the vent system and this is the sanitary system, and combining these systems is going to cause this error. So what do we do? Well, let's go ahead and back this piece of piping out, and then let's go ahead and change this piece of pipe to the correct system. So let's select the MEP vent, and you can see that gets updated. Now we also want to change this fitting because this looks like it's the wrong fitting. I think this is the sanitary T for the sanitary. So we want to change this to a vent. So I'm just going to type in vent and we'll go to this T reducing vent. You can see that looks better. And then let's make this connection. Look at that. So now we have everything connected up. It's looking really good. And we are ready to start tagging. But before I do, let's also connect the water. So to connect the water, we can use a system. So let's create a new system. We'll select all of our fixtures. We'll use a crossing selection from left to right and get all the fixtures. You can see there's multiple families selected. Make sure filter only plumbing fixtures are selected. That looks good. And then let's go ahead and create a piping system. We're going to use the domestic cold water. Hit OK. And then we need to select the correct connector. So if you look on the plan, you can see the connector going into the wall is what we want. So we're going to hit OK on all of these. All right, those look good. And now we've essentially created a system. And now once we create the system, we can create the layout. So we're going to generate a new layout. And we don't really want it up in the ceiling dropping down to each fixture. We want it right in the back of the wall. So let's go ahead and modify these by going to settings. And for the main, we're going to use 2 feet because I happen to know that's what it's at. We're going to make sure we select the water piping, which is the standard piping. Do the same thing here. Select standard and click on 2 feet. Click OK. And now you can see that looks much better. Let's finish the layout. And that looks good. Let's bring this piping back into the wall. So I'm just going to drag it down into the wall here, just like that. And that's looking a lot better. So now you can see we have our water piping going to all these fixtures. Now we need to bring this water piping maybe over and up because that's how it would be in the real world. So let's go ahead and we'll delete this little piece right here. Hit the delete button. We'll extend this piece of water piping all the way over here. And then we'll right click, create similar. Let's go ahead and bring it up to 10 feet. And then what we can do is we can click on this piece of pipe and then just go out this way. And as you can see, we need to make sure that we have enough height right here. So let's click on the reveal hidden elements and you can see I can access my section box and we're going to move that up so we can see the piping in the ceiling just like that. We'll turn it off. And now you can see that pipe. Now, obviously, we are not going to be using 1-inch piping for these water closets because they require much more water. So what I need to do is I need to size this real quick. And luckily, Revit has an automatic sizing tool. So since we've already put the fixture units in these fixtures, and all of these families, by the way, you can get at mepguy.com, and they automatically have all of the fixture units you'll need per the International Plumbing Code. So you could use them to size your piping. So let's go back to our project, and what we'll do is we'll tab into all of our piping for the domestic water. You can see it's selected in pink, and then we're going to use the duct pipe sizing tool, and we'll size this to a velocity of 7 feet per second. We'll use the match connector size and click OK, and you can see that the water got much bigger around this area. We didn't have this one connected, so let's go ahead and undo that real quick and make sure we trim that together. So I'm going to click this piece, and it trims it up. And now let's do that again. Let's select all of our water piping. We'll tab into all of it. And now that we have it selected, we'll use the duct pipe sizing tool, use 7 feet per second and match connector size and click OK. And now you can see everything's been sized. So our size went up from 1 inch to 2 inch, and we can check the velocity here. You can see the flow rate for all of these fixtures is 54 GPM, and that's based on the Hunter's curve for flush valve water closets. We also might want to check the system. So I'm going to tab into this system right here by clicking it, and you can see I got the domestic cold water system. And now we can make sure if we go to edit type, we want to make sure we're using predominantly flush valves when we're sizing. So that's one thing you want to check. I'm going to click OK. Now I go over all of this stuff much slower in my course, Plumbing 201, so you can get that at mepguy.com, and it also comes with all of these plumbing fixtures in this template file so you can use it for your own projects. So we got our floor plan, we got our riser. Let's go ahead and throw these on some sheets and start tagging them up. So let's create a new sheet. We'll go to View, Sheet. We're going to use this out of the box E1, and I got my new sheet. Let's drag in that first floor plumbing plan. Let's drag it into the view right here. And you can see it's pretty small in this view, so I can make it a little bigger. Let's go ahead and make it, I don't know, a ½ inch. So that looks a lot better. Let's move this into a better location. So let's kind of move it into, I don't know, we'll use the left side, and we'll put our riser diagram right here. Let's move this title, zoom in, we'll just put it right here. That looks fine. Now let's get started on our riser diagram, tagging everything up. So let's go ahead and throw it on our sheet. Right now it's called 3D View. Let's rename that. We'll call it Plumbing Isometric. Let's drag it onto our view, and we're gonna go right here. Let's kind of move it up so it looks cool. Something like that looks good. Let's move this down a little bit. And that's looking pretty good. So let's focus on tagging this little isometric drawing we have right here. So I'll double click into the view. And another thing I can do is I have a special schedule that I use for my tagging, and I go over this in my course, but we're going to essentially bring in that schedule into this project. So another way you can bring things in is I'm going to use this pipe tag selection schedule. We'll right click, we'll copy it to the clipboard, and then we'll go back to our sheet over here, and then we'll just paste it in. We'll go to modify, paste, we'll hit OK. And you can see under schedule quantities, I have this new schedule right here. Let's go ahead and select all of these pieces of pipe right here. We'll go back to our plumbing isometric view on our sheet. And now it essentially selects all the piping I'd like to be tagging. And we'll go and we'll use the annotate tag or tab. We'll tag all. First we need to lock this view, so let's lock it. And then let's go ahead and select the previous, go to annotate, tag all. And let's go ahead and bring in, we also need to bring in our tags, which I forgot to do. So let's go back to our template file. And you can see I have all these tags right here. And I have this MEP pipe and tags group. To bring those into the project, the best way to do it is to go down to groups. And I have this MEP pipe and tags group. Let's copy this to the clipboard right here. We'll paste it into our plumbing isometric view. So right click or go to modify, paste from clipboard. And essentially what that does is it pastes it in without having to put it into the project. Let's go back to our floor plan here. And again, let's right click. We have to use our schedule again. So let's go ahead and select all of these just like that. Go back to our plumbing isometric. All right, for the last time, let's do this. We're going to go to annotate, tag all. We're going to only selected objects in current view. And for the pipe tags, we're going to use the MEP pipe size tag with suffix left loop. Well, let's not use the suffix. Let's click this one. We're going to use a leader here and we're going to click OK. And as you can see, it kind of looks a little funky, but we're going to clean this up. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these tags that are for the vent and we're going to kind of position them. I'm going to change these to the right leader type. So I'm going to go here. We're going to go to a right loop. And then what I can do is I can kind of modify these the way they look. So maybe something like this. That looks good. And then we're going to do these tags down here. So let's go ahead and modify all of these guys. And let's just do it to about right here. Looks good. We need to change this one right here. So let's just drag that one across. We'll just try to make it look as similar as we can. That looks good. We need to select all of these water tags. They're looking a little funky over here. So once we have them selected like that, we're going to have to drag them over maybe to something like this. And once we have them here, we actually change this to free end. And we're just going to move that right into the middles over here. Something like that. Let's go ahead and move these sanitary tags over to kind of make them look more like this. Here's another trick for you guys. So I'm going to select these and delete them. We're going to take this tag and we're just going to move it over by holding Control. But before we do that, we have to change it to free end. We're going to select the tag, hold Control, and we're just going to move it over. That way it keeps the same orientation. And then we just have to remember to pick a new host. Let's move this one over, go right here, pick a new host. And those are all looking pretty good and consistent. But I don't like the way the water tags are looking, so I'm just going to select all of them. Maybe all of these tags in here, and we're just going to try a different style tag. So I'm just going to delete all of those, maybe delete this one too, just like that. And then let's go ahead and select all of our pipe again. So we'll go back into this view, select all of our pipe, and then we'll go ahead and annotate, tag all, only the selected items. And this time we're going to use my rotate with pipe opaque tag. And we're not going to use a leader this time. I'm just going to hit OK. And you can see what it does is it will only tag the pipes that don't have tags on them. So you can see that was very quick. And now I have this little tag in between my pipes. Now you'll notice that the water system is not correct. So let's change it. It's not showing up with CW here. So that's because I have it on the wrong system. I'm using the one out of the box, but let's change it to the MEP cold water. And you can see that it automatically updates to CW. Maybe I want to get rid of these little diameter symbols, so let's do that. Let's go up to Manage, MEP Settings, Mechanical Settings, and let's click the pipe settings and get rid of this little suffix. We're just going to click OK, and now you can see those go away. We're almost done, guys. Our vent piping is also, looks like it got moved, or maybe I never did this. So let's make this right. Let's select all of these vents, and let's go back to something like this, and then we're going to change it to free end, and then we'll move all of these into place, maybe something like that. So that looks kind of nice. This one didn't get moved correctly. So we might have to kind of move it. That looks fine. Don't want to waste too much time doing this. And these tags, let's just get rid of these. Delete. And let's use these tags right here. So I'm going to create similar by using the CS command. We don't need a leader for these. And let's just put one here and put one here. All right, that looks pretty good. Now I might want to tag one of these pieces going into the water closet and make it typical. So I have a special tag for that. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Annotate, tag by category. And we're going to use a special tag. So I'm going to go to the leader and we'll just start tagging this like here, something like that. This is not the tag we're going to use, so it doesn't really matter where we click. And then I'm just going to change it. And let's change it to this MEP leader pipe size tag with suffix, just like that. And then we're going to move the tag where we need it, maybe something like this. And then I'm just going to add typical to the end. So I'm going to click into this and you can see I can use these comments right here and I can just say TYP for typical. And let's go ahead and move this tag over something like that. It doesn't look great, but you guys get the hang of it. We could also move it over maybe somewhere like this. You get the idea. Now let's take the same strategies and use them for this view right here. So I'm going to select all of my piping again by going to my tag selection schedule. We'll click into this view and we'll annotate tag all. Now one thing I realize is I don't really want the vertical pieces of piping. So I'm going to go hit cancel here and we're going to go to our isometric view. And I'm just going to duplicate this. We don't need the tags this time. So I'm going to use this. We're going to call this, let's just make this 3D. And then I'm going to unlock this view. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the back button and we'll select all of our pipes that we're going to tag. We'll go to our 3D view. And then we're just going to deselect all of the vertical pieces. So I'm going to hold shift and we're going to deselect all of these. That looks good. And then we're going to go back to our floor plan right here. And now we're going to use the tag command, annotate, tag all, click on pipe tags, and we'll use the MEP leader pipe size tag with an arrow. We're going to use a leader, hit OK. Now we have all these tags, so we can kind of bring those up to where we need to bring them. I kind of want to do the sanitary all at once, so maybe we'll align those first. So let's click on all of our sanitary tags over here. Let's kind of align those to the left. That looks good. We need to make sure we pull the sanitary up here. Let's line it to the left. That looks good. And we'll do our cold water. Maybe we'll drag our cold water up to the right. Or you know what? Let's do the cold water on this side. I like that. That's a good idea. And then we can get all these. We can kind of grab these together, pull those back just like that. And let's select all of our vents to finish it off. And we can pull the vent maybe right here. Let's do something like this. Maybe we'll do the vent right there. And then we can pull this cold water down here, pull this sanitary back up. And since everything is kind of snapping, it's making it look nice and neat. And then I think what would look nice is if I take all these tags and I kind of move those to the right a little bit and maybe move them up into the middle of this wall. Something like that looks good. I'm going to move this piece of piping over to the right to make it look a little cleaner. And the last couple things I'll do, let's go to our floor or our sheet and see what everything's looking like. Now the last thing I might want to do is I might want to get rid of the overlapping of fixtures. So I'm going to turn my fixtures off. So let's go ahead and first let's tag our fixtures. So I'm going to again just select all of my fixtures in the view, or I can just use the tag all command. So annotate, tag all. Go to plumbing fixture tags. We're just going to use the standard tag, hit OK. I'm not a big fan of this tag, so I'm going to bring in the one I have from my template file, and I did not bring that in for some reason. So I'm just going to take this one, copy it to the clipboard. We'll go back to the floor plan and we'll paste it in. And now that it's pasted in, we can just select one of the tags, and we're going to select the MEP plumbing fixture tag, transparent. And you can see all those get changed. So before I do that, I probably should have selected all the tags in the view. So if you want to select all the tags, you can right click, select all instances, visible in view. They all get selected, and you can change them all at once by going to the drop down and changing them here. As they're still selected, let's go ahead and use our arrow keys and just put them down there. Let's put the urinal tags a little closer. Let's go back to our floor plan. That's looking good. Let's go to our plumbing isometric. All right, now the last thing, let's remove the fixtures. So there's a little trick involved, and I'm not going to show you guys. You have to get the course to see this trick, but they work with my plumbing fixtures. So I've already saved the setting. So if I go to my view template and I use the MEP floor plan, I'm going to hit OK, and it will automatically get rid of the get rid of my MEP fixtures and only show the architects. And then in this view, what we'll do is we'll just turn off the architectural fixtures because we want the MEP ones to show. So if I go to visibility graphics and I just turn off the architectural link, that doesn't look like I can do it. Let's try that again. Let's turn off this arc file for carriers, and you can see the fixtures get turned off and the MEP fixtures are showing, which looks good. And then let's tag all the fixtures in this view. So we'll go to tag all, plumbing fixture tags, and let's select the MEP ones just like that. We'll select all of them in the view just like we did before. And now that they're selected, we can kind of nudge them up maybe to somewhere right here. That looks good. And let's just move the urinal tags down since they're a little different. Let's maybe move them. I think something right there looks good. And that looks pretty good, guys. So we're just about done. Let's look at our sheet. Let's make this full screen. Now let's go ahead and crop this view because we'll do these in another time. So we're going to show the crop region, and we're just going to crop these guys out of the view just like that. We'll move this, let's move our view to the middle of the page, and let's move this viewport title up. Let's move these down, and there you go. We've basically completed plumbing modeling and tagging of all of this common layout using a template file. And if you guys are interested in getting this template file, like I said, it's at mepguy.com. It comes with my course, Plumbing 201. And in Plumbing 201, I go over all of the tricks that I was talking about in this video, and I go over them at a much slower pace so you can really understand how I'm doing all these things and how to use all of the families and pipe settings inside the template file. So make sure to check that out, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.